బార్బెక్యూ
డిఫరెంట్ మాకు పెట్టాడు.
ఈవినింగ్ బార్బెక్యూ.
డాక్టర్ రమక్ అడ్మిట్ కామా రమా.
సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్, అందరికి గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్.
డాక్టర్ రమా మేడం
నమస్తే మేడం. నమస్తే, బాగున్నారా?
ఐఎస్ఎన్ రావు గారు సార్ ట్రావెలింగ్.
I'm in Bangalore.
Oh, Bangalore, sir. Yeah, you told yesterday, na? Yeah.
Okay.
Delhi is boiling, sir. 52. ఇవాళ చిరుజల్లు పడ్డాయి. ఆల్కలమ్మ టైమ్స్ ఆల్కలమ్మ చదువు. ఆల్కలమ్మను సోము ఆర్డర్ వస్తే ఫోన్ చేయి. తిన వినాయక్ జీ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్. Vinayak sir, how are you? Professor Ramna Naik.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Tarun Namaya, Hanumantha garu.
Sir, shall we wait for 5 more minutes or shall we start right now?
Pandey,
Okay, sir.
I got the message. Ramba Sitaram Babu garu.
Okay. Sir, but sir, Pandey sir, week purchase. Oh, sir, now we are talking to Pandey sir.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Pandey sir, calling from Central Office.
Hello.
good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. You joined.
Yeah, I have already joined.
You already joined, sir? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Welcome, sir. Just now.
Okay.
We'll start another 2 minutes, sir.
సాంబార్ చేసిన ఎందుకంటే మునక్కాయలు ఉంటాయి. మునక్కాయలు
नमस्ते हुसैन साहब.
Sir, yes, he'll be here, sir. In just a minute, he'll be here, sir.
Okay, okay.
Just gone out to. Sir, we're starting, sir. We cannot. Sir, good evening, one and all, sir. Now it's time that we'll start the seventh endowment lecture of great engineer T. Hanumantha garu. We're going to have on the theme sustainable practices of water resources management with a particular reference to river basins and watersheds. We request, we welcome the keynote speaker today for today's event, Engineer A.B. Pandya garu. He is basically the International Commission on Irrigation and Drainage and former chairman of Central Water Commission. And also, there's a slight delay in our chairman coming to the meeting, sir. He is held up in traffic jam. I would request the past chairman, Brahma Reddy garu, to preside over the event, sir. And before we go into the meeting, we will felicitate and garland the portrait of Hanumantha garu, sir. Just for this event will happen in 5 minutes, sir. Then we'll go into the program schedule, sir. Chubi, sir. Correct, sir.
Ramambra would have gone there.
Just touching that.
మీరు పెట్టింది బాగుంది.
Three. Come here.
Pandya sir, you are in Delhi? Professor Ramna here.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm in
I'm in Delhi. Yes.
I'm in JNU, sir, JNU.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday I spoke to Dr. M.K. Sinha ji.
Yes.
I was to say what is sir, Delhi.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Amadu.
Lakshmi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Two photos.
पेपर बांटने के 50 मिनट बाद ज्यादा बोर भलो नहीं किया है।
Sir, we have honored the portrait of Engineer T. Hanumantha Garu on his 7th endowment lecture. Before I request the past chairman of IEI and Telangana State Center, Brahma Reddy Garu, to proceed to the event, I would spell out the names who are part of this event, sir. There are actually some 10 students sitting here. And above that, I would also invite Professor Dr. Ramna Naik Garu, our past chairman, to the event. D. Ramagaru, EC member of the Telangana State Center, and Dr. ISN Raj Garu, past chairman and council member to the event. Brahma Reddy Garu is also the past chairman. Professor Ramanjanel Garu, Ravi Yadav Garu, Vinay Garu, Shrikant Garu, Shashi Kola Garu. Shashi Kola Garu, I heard just now that she is the daughter of the prominent engineer T. Hanumantha Garu. We invite you, madam, to this event. J.V. Lakshman Rao Garu, Gopal Raj Garu, Gangaraj Garu, Madhu Garu, Narayan Murthy Garu, and Kamala Raj Garu. Now I request the past chairman and today's presiding officer, Brahma Reddy Garu, please take over and conduct the event, sir.
Thank you, Sitaram Babu Garu, Honorary Secretary of the Telangana State Center. And first of all, good evening to all of you at India, and good morning to me and Sesi Madam at our ESA morning time. And I'm really happy to attend Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao Endowment lecture, because I don't know, I'm closely associated with Mohammad Hussain Garu, Madam Garu, and this endowment lecture for the past 3 years. I'm happy to welcome the today's respected keynote speaker, Engineer A.B. Pandya, International Commissioner on Irrigation and Drainage and former Chairman of Central Water Commission, Dr. K. Sitaram Babu, Honorary Secretary and Telangana State Center, and Dr. Venkata Subbaya, I heard that is held up, and Dr. Mohammad Hussain, the professor of Department of Civil Engineering, Gokraj Rangaraj Institute of Hyderabad, and a convener of this event, and Ms. Shashi Kola, daughter of Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao Garu, and Mr. Tota Vijay Kumar, son of Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao Garu, and other members of their family, past presidents, Dr. Ramana Naik, council member ISN Raj Garu, other past chairman, other past honorary secretaries, and members of Telangana State Center Committee, and corporate members of the Telangana State Center, and family once again all other family members of Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao Garu, distinguished guests, representatives of media, ladies and gentlemen. I feel it is a great privilege today and honor to be amidst this august gathering and extend a warm and hearty welcome to the keynote speaker of Dr. A.B. Pandya Garu, and to this august gathering, and deliver a endowment lecture of Engineer, 7th endowment lecture of Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao Garu on sustainable practice of water resources management with a particular reference to the river basins and watersheds. I'm also very happy to be associated with this memorable event. I'm glad to inform that the Institution of Engineers is the largest multidisciplinary professional body encompassing 15 engineering disciplines with a membership more than 8 lakh and gives engineers a global platform for sharing professional interest and information. The Institution of Engineers established in 1920 with headquarters at Calcutta and incorporated in the year 1935 by the Royal Charter, the then British Council. It is only the professional body in India, almost every prestigious and organization across the globe. It provides a vast support services to the government, industries, academia, and the engineering fraternity, operating through 125 centers across the country and 6 charters outside the countries. And IE has a bilateral agreements with more than 31 international bodies, and also having a membership, another membership of 8 international bodies of developed nations across the globe. The Telangana State Center is the legacy of the erstwhile Nizam's Hyderabad Center, formed on 28th August 2016 and bifurcation. And today, around having a members of 10,000 corporate members and more than 19,000 plus non-corporate members on its roll. The Institution of Engineers, the objectives and missions of IEI is the only center which is in fact actually doing its mission and vision of the IEI, and also it bagged best state center after its formation of last 8 years, so more than 4 times in the from the 2017, 18, 18, 19, 21, 22 and 22, 23. The Telangana State Center has been playing a very vital role in dissemination of information and engineering and contemporary technology, bringing industry, academia, experts, and professors together on the same platform. Engineer T. Hanumantha Endowment Lecture is conducting from 2018 onwards, and Telangana State Center is presenting certificates and medals to the outstanding academic students with the highest performance and securing the highest percentage of marks in the Bachelor of Engineering degree in civil engineering from the University College of Engineering in that is JNTU Kakinada and University College of Engineering SV University Tirupati and National Institute of Technology Warangal and in IIT Hyderabad. In honor of the eminent engineer, Engineer T. Hanumantha garu, former consultant to United Nations and former engineer-in-chief, AP Irrigation and Command Area Development Department, and former Director General, Water and Land Management Training and Research Institute, Hyderabad, and former Commissioner of Tenders. This year, also, we are selected 8 students, 4 students from the year 2019-23 batch and the 4 students from the 2024 batch, as there is a backlog in the last year which could not be given. I am glad to inform that the Telangana State Center of the Institution of Engineers India has been regularly organizing 20 endowment lectures every year on the birthdays of these legendary and eminent engineers like Engineer V. Subbarao, Engineer M. Tirupati Reddy, Engineer Professor K. Gopichand, Dr. K. Purushottam, Engineer G. Prabhakar, Engineer Koka Krishna Mohan Rao, Engineer G. V. Subbarao, Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao, Engineer A. P. Ranganatha Swami, Dr. S. Raghavachari, Dr. Narla Tatarao, Engineer Matur Gopal Rao, Engineer Gurram Kotreddy, Engineer Atturi Venkateshwar Rao, Engineer R.L. Raju, Dr. John A. Murray, Dr. N.V.R.L.N. Rao, Engineers Venkata Krishna Rao, Iyer, K.V. Srinivas Rao, and M.L. Swami, Dr. A. Ramakrishna, Engineer Basavaraju Endowment Lectures. The endowment lectures are being delivered by people of high eminence with considerable professional experience to throw light on the important emerging topics of the today's relevance. And today, Telangana State Center arranged Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao 7th Endowment Lecture on sustainable practice of water resources management with a particular reference to the river basins and watersheds by Engineer A.B. Pandya, FIE, International Commission on Irrigation and Drainage, and former Chairman Central Water Commission, CWC. And since we are all awaiting anxiously to hear the talk from the keynote speaker, I am limiting myself here and hope that you will really enjoy the talk. And on behalf of the Telangana State Center of IEI and on my own behalf, I once again extend a hearty and warm welcome to the keynote speaker, Engineer A.B. Pandya, and family members of T. Hanumantha Rao Garu and all other members to this. And I am sure the family members will throw a light on the antecedents of the legendary Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao Garu. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, and all. Over to the Honorary Secretary for further proceeds.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now I request our convener, Dr. Mohammad Hussain Garu. It's nice to be here, sir, and is basically the professor of Department of Civil Engineering, Gokaraju Engineering of Engineering Institute of Engineering Technology, Hyderabad, and the current convener for the event. To say a few words, basically focusing on lifetime achievements of Engineer T. Hanumantha Rao Garu. Sir, please.
I welcome you all. I welcome you all for this webinar meeting of 7th Endowment Lecture of former Engineer-in-Chief and former Director General Sri T. Hanumantha Rao Garu. He was an honest irrigation engineer with intense compassion and enthusiasm for our excellence in effectiveness and efficiency. At the highest degree of unconscious competence level, till his last breath at 86 years of age. So we all know that there are 4 evolving stages of competence. First is unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, unconscious competence, and finally unconscious competence. I know him for the last 3 decades from 1987. In 1987, when I was undergoing 10-month long-term course in irrigation water management in Water and Land Management Training and Research Institute, Valamtari, as Assistant Executive Engineer of Andhra Pradesh Irrigation Command Area Development Department. He was then Director General of rank of Engineer-in-Chief for Valamtari. He gave his highly technical inaugural address of first national seminar of our college, Gokaraju Rangaraju Institute of Engineering Technology. The name of the seminar was STEPS. Sustainable Technologies in Civil Engineering, Perspectives and Strategies in the year 2011. He again visited our college as chief guest on the occasion of United Nations World Water Day on March 22nd, 2016. His inspiring speech motivated everyone, both faculty and students. He released a message which I am going to read at the end of uh, this introduction. So, because we have to get inspiration from his life, I'm going to discuss his habits, character, and values. He used to wake up at 3:30 a.m. every day with the daily practice of yogasanas and pranayama. And incidentally, today is International Day of Yoga. We find in him all 7 habits of Dr. Stephen R. Covey in his famous book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's the reason why, on my personal behalf, I'm going to award 4 books of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People to all the gold medal winners. He had a childlike curiosity, jijnasa in Sanskrit, to know and understand not only technical aspects, but also all other scientific aspects like astronomy, genetic engineering, nuclear science, psychology, geology, physics, chemistry, sociology, political science, economics, other branches of engineering, etc. He was an all-rounder with thoroughness in all fundamentals of engineering and science. His method of study was to write with his own handwriting and then review it frequently. This is a SQ4R method of study, so which is internationally well-known method of study. S stands for survey, Q questions, or read, record, respond, and review or revise. So this he used to follow methodically. He showed me many such written books. His sensation was complete and perception without self-serving biases. He showed me many he showed me many such written books. Many of us are not creative because of our sensory dominance, usually visual dominance over other 4 senses, touch, sound, taste, and smell, and brain dominance, usually left brain dominance over right brain dominance. Perhaps his yoga practice had given him opportunity to develop equally all traditional senses of sound, touch, vision, taste, and smell, and other vestibular, proprioception, and time senses during the process of observation. We find in him the harmony of both left brain and right brain activities. He was a whole brain thinker. He was a patient, empathic, and intuitive listener with a deeper and deeper rate of all multisensory intuitive convergence and integration. He was also a music lover, which he admitted during an interview of engineering college students in the year 2005. He was fond of Western instrumental music, Beethoven Symphony, and Tyagaraja Kirtanas. He was a good swimmer. He was general captain during his graduate study in Kakinada Engineering College and played basketball, cricket, table tennis, hockey, and swimming. So he had integration of cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domains. As per the taxonomies of Bloom's, Krathwohl, and Dave's taxonomies, National Board of Accreditation (NBA) defines 12 characteristics of an engineer as program outcomes. Surprisingly, we find in him all those 12 characteristics. His love of profession reflected in all of his various works. He was a voracious reader, keen manual recorder, and prolific writer. He has used fluid intelligence and also crystallized intelligence. Fluid intelligence is out-of-box thinking. He wrote many articles on current issues of water management in all leading newspapers. He was an effective communicator. He loved Telugu literature. And he learned the Sanskrit language by attending a residential course. During his speech on the occasion of United Nations World Water Day 2016 at Gokraj Rangaraj Institute of Engineering and Technology, he explained to the students the word-to-word meaning of Gayatri Mantra. His frequent message I heard during his speeches as Director General of Valamtari was this: let us together learn new things, starting from the zero. The trouble is when one understands wrongly and negatively. His attitude has to be first changed from negative to zero and then build up. He had explained to me many times with deep sense of passion the standard model of particle physics, standard model of Big Bang cosmology, latest status on exploration research of cosmos using telescopes and satellites, and research on gravitational waves. And incidentally, we are celebrating every year National Space Day. Holy Gita, chapter 18, verse 46, defines the process of attainment of perfection. He from whom all beings arise, and by whom all this is pervaded. By worshipping him through the performance of his own duty, does man attain perfection. Siddhi. Translation by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. Sri T. Hanumantha Garu attained such perfection. His keen observation was as per the wisdom of Jiddu Krishnamurti, United Nations Peace Medal awardee. The ultimate answer is to see things as they are, unclouded by the deceptions of self-concern. His positions held, he was an able administrator with deep insight and far foresight. He was former Director General of the rank of Engineering Chief of Water and Land Management Training and Research Institute, Valamtari, a training institute of Irrigation and Command Area Development Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Then it was undivided Andhra Pradesh. He was former Chief Engineer, Teluganga Project, Chief Engineer, Minor Irrigation of Government of Andhra Pradesh then. He was the Chairman of Institution of Engineers India, Andhra Pradesh Center during 1988-90. He also worked as Commissioner of Tenders, Government of Andhra Pradesh. He was former Chairman, Technical Committee, Water Conservation Mission, Government of Andhra Pradesh. He has published 92 technical papers in Indian and international journals. He published 4 books, Type Designs for Lift Irrigation Schemes in India, Type Designs and Ready Ignore Tables for Earthen Dams, Manual on Designs for Minor Irrigation Projects, Innovative Participatory Technology for Watersheds, Low-Cost Structure on 4 Waters concept. He, as Chief Engineer Mine Irrigation, he coordinated to bring out a book on guidelines for preparation of project reports of surface water mine irrigation works, for which Dr. N.T. Ramarao, who was then Chief Minister, then had appreciated him in his foreword in the following words. Mr. T. Hanumantha Rao, Chief Engineer Mine Irrigation, has done innovative work in standardization of designs, preparation of ready reckoner tables, and issuing guidelines in the shape of manual for preparation of detailed project reports for mine irrigation works. I appreciate this pioneering activity in the sphere of mine irrigation, unquote. As Director General Valamtari, he made it mandatory to do diagnostic analysis of irrigation systems in irrigation projects for all officer trainees of Valamtari. As trainee officer, I also prepared diagnostic analysis of report of irrigation system of Sriram Sagar project. After superannuation from the state of government service, he worked for over 2 decades as technical team leader, consultant for the following 9 international organizations in 22 countries. During visits abroad, he has solved several varied problems related to water resource engineering and civil engineering for the ongoing projects in these countries. So the World Bank, United Nations Operation Project Services, IFAD, Rome, CERDOC, WAPCOS, German Agro Action Germany, DFID, UK, Swedish Project Development, the Netherlands government. He gave inaugural address in many national and international conferences. He delivered the 27th Dr. Ian Khosla Memorial Lecture during 29th Indian Engineering Congress organized by the Institution of Engineers India, December 18-21st, 2014, on making rivers live and interlinking rivers, a new concept. He proposed the technology of constructing a series of barrages on rivers to make them live and make possible interlinking of rivers. He also applied for patent of this technology. He has given his solution as a consultant, United Nations consultant, to many state governments, particularly on the Mulla Periyar Dam. So he has given his own feasible solution to both the governments of Tamil Nadu and also Kerala. He was awarded Best All-Rounder Cup Proficiency both in sports and studies during his graduate study in Kakinada Engineering College. He was recipient of Central Board of Irrigation Power Award 1989 for outstanding work in water resources in India. He got Bharat Ratna Sir Mokshagana Viswesvaraya Award in 1987 for outstanding contribution in the field of engineering, jointly instituted by the Institution of Engineers India and the Government of Andhra Pradesh. He was a recipient of Vishishta Seva Patram, the highest honor of Andhra Pradesh State Government in 1986 for outstanding work in government service. His message released on United Nations World Water Day on March 22nd, 2016 at Gokarazu Rangarazu Institute of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad. I'm going to read this. Let us together earnestly strive, within quotes, let us together earnestly strive to develop and conserve quality and quantity of water, both wastewater and fresh water, by implementation of the principles of green building, virtual water, hydraulic structures, water footprint, rainwater harvesting, groundwater recharge, and recycling by wastewater treatment to prevent waterborne diseases and water conflicts. Let us together update our attitude towards water using LOVES, L-O-V-E-S, LOVES mutual cooperation quotient among nations, states, communities, and individuals. L stands for listening attentively and intuitively, both verbally and non-verbally, without selective listening and preconceived judgments due to the sensory dominance and brain dominance. O, observing with all senses, without selective perception due to accumulative errors of sensory information gathering and sensory information processing. V, verifying intentions, honest or dishonest. Communication, masks people wear to hide true self, misperceptions, psychological games from not okay positions of transaction analysis, negative thinking patterns, performance appraisal errors, social context, and values of both eternal and temporal of oneself and others. E is empathizing with others as everyone has unique mindset, unique emotional set, and unique body set. Yes, self-awareness, accurate expansion by appropriate self-disclosure of feelings and receiving functional feedback, simultaneously rejecting biased and unjust dysfunctional feedback from events, situations, and people. He has seen the divine communion uh, as stated by Sri Aravindo. Divine communion is in the heart as well as in the temple of the universe. So may his soul of this modern Bhagirath rest in eternal peace. May his indomitable spirit of universal compassion beyond borders guide all the stakeholders of water management towards water wisdom all over the world towards sustainable development and peace. Before I conclude, so there is one Telugu poem. It takes only just 1 minute of Dr. C. Narayan Reddy Garu by name Jivana Bhashyam. పరుల కోసం పాటుపడిని నరుని బతుకు దేనికని మూగ నేలకు నీరందివ్వని వాగు పరుగు దేనికని జల్లుకు నిలవని ఎండకు ఆగని చిలుల గొడుగు దేనికని పద పద బంధమంటూ పదములే కాని కదలని అడుగు దేనికని ఎంతటి ఎత్తులకెదిగినా ఉంటుంది పరీక్ష హిమగిరి శిరసే మాడితే అది ఏరవుతుంది బిరుదులు పొందే వ్యాప్తికి విలువేమి సినారే చెరగని త్యాగం మిగిలితే ఒక పేరవుతుంది. సో ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ టు 1 minute with the permission, just I'm sharing one video. YouTube talks are there just for 1 minute. So just I will play his talk. So his YouTube videos are there. Where is he? He has gone. Babu, share channel. YouTube. అట్లేదా kept on చేశాను. I think I will play at the end, sir.
Okay, okay.
It's not.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. Mohammad Hussain Garu is basically the professor of Department of Civil Engineering at Grid College and also the convener of the event. Thank you so much, sir, that his profile runs in very huge and very pivotal, sir. He's done a lot of work at the international, national, and also state level, the bifurcated erstwhile Andhra Pradesh and also state of Telangana, sir. And not only that, he has also contributed in terms of his books and the knowledge that he has shared to, I think, is immense to the next generation. Sir, but I think I don't have to really read the profile, but there are certain things that probably Hussain Gar has missed. I'll just walk through in a minute. He's basically an alumni of Indian Institute of Technology at New Delhi, and has vast experience of 40 years in professional experience in water resource and irrigation planning, design, implementation, and financing. He has strong competency of leveraging technologies in core areas, and is also very strong in information technology. So Engineer Pandyaji began his career with the Central Water Commission, and he occupied top positions in various government positions at India, offices under the Ministry of Water Resources, which typically includes the Director General, National Water Development Agency, Chairman and Managing Director, National Projects Construction Corporation. So an avid proponent of irrigation and hydropower projects. He has been a key figure behind the establishment of international flagship event, India Water Week. He also established the National Conference on Dam Safety. He has conferred with various awards and recognition. I think Hussain Gar has just walked through many of such awards and recognitions that he has garnered over a period of his professional experience. He is associated with a number of water resource societies. Engineer Pandyaji was elected as Vice President of ICID for the period 2014 and 16, and made active contributions to the various activities of the Commission. He is currently serving as Secretary General of ICD with effect from 1st January 2018. It's so nice that we're just having wonderful lecture of Pandya sir, and you'll be delivering a lecture on sustainable practice of water resources management with a particular reference to river basins and watershed. Now I'd request Pandya sir to go ahead and have your lecture delivered, sir. There are actually 25 audience sitting in this, sir. We'll try to focus the students also who have got the awards for the best student awards from 4 different colleges, as chairman said earlier. But now we'll have listen to the keynote speaker, Engineer A.B. Pandya sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sitaram Babu and Professor Hussain and others who have made this possible for me to have an interaction with you and share a few thoughts on various aspects. So initially I will share the screen with my presentation. Kindly let me know if it is visible. Are you able to see the screen properly?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay, and the slide is changing.
Yeah, slide is also moving.
Okay, because many times this share screen, it creates this problem. Okay, so once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to all of you and also to share some of the very vital thoughts regarding the water management in our country and also at the global level. The prime concern in respect of water resources, especially in the era of climate change, is providing a sustainable development regime. Providing the sustainable development regime is very much necessary, in fact, because of the fact that we need to have water as our life support throughout the life cycle of various plants and species and other beings on the earth. And without that, this will not be able to sustain. So the sustainable development is a very crucial issue, and water is something which will be perpetually needed, and probably we will have more and more needs of this water as we go in the time, with the increasing efficiency and also increasing our size of the economy as well as the population. So if we have a look at it, we can see that the primary unit of the water management or water availability are the basins. We have about 263 international water basins which cover about 50% of the Earth's surface, and they provide a very sizable volume of water, which is a fresh water, and it's a renewable water. So this is the water which is most useful for the sustenance of land component of the biosphere. The largest basin are also very large basins which are covering a very large set of countries, and where even the Ganges basin in India is also featuring as one of them. So basins are a very important entity which will have to be considered when we look at the water management in a sustainable fashion. See, the river, if we look at all the basins across the world, you can see that most part of the world is covered by some basin or other. We have got large number of basins even within the country also. So it is very much necessary to focus on the basin as a whole rather than the river as a single entity. Nowadays, there is a tendency in respect of various planners who look at the river as some kind of a linear entity and river in isolation of the basin. Especially this is true when we talk about the water quality and similar such issues. But really speaking, river is simply a manifestation of the hydrometeorological process which is taking place over a basin and the consequent response of the orography and geology to the water cycle. How the water flows across the basin, how the water occurs across the basin are something which are very, very important. So the basin areas are the ones who are transforming the precipitation occurring over them and release to the stream network, so that we get a concentrated flow in the stream network, but that contribution is coming from the entire basin area. The groundwater is also connected to the surface water. The recharge of the groundwater primarily takes place through the geographical area of the basin, and then using various aquifers, this groundwater occurs at various places in the basin and sometimes even across the basin. However, there is a great influence of the water availability or water occurrence on the surface for the basin and for the groundwater. So we have to look at these processes and demands, and then the challenges of managing the large rivers can then be met. So when we look at the water resources, we have to first look at the overall situation of India in the global water resources. So when we see that we have got land resources of 2.45% of the globe, the renewable water resources at 4%, but then the population is 17%. So there is a large population which has to be supported by a relatively small share of water in the global scenario. And that becomes a very important part that we need to look at. Second thing that we need to look at is that all our basins are not equal. All basins have their characteristics, and especially they are highly influenced by the amount of water that they receive as a means of precipitation. When we have the precipitation patterns looked at across the country, we realize that the eastern and northeastern parts of the country are very much well endowed, whereas the western and southwestern parts of the country are not really that well endowed. The peninsular India especially is not a very well endowed as far as the water is concerned. But still, all this water that is there is basically looking at from the basin angle. We have got nearly 23 basins across the country, and each of the basin is something which spans across the multiple political boundaries. So there are special issues and special focus that we need to make on the basin. In these basins also, because of the precipitation irregularities and also with the concentration of precipitation in June to September period, the water availability varies greatly across the period and across the time. So when the water availability varies greatly across the time, the surface water, even though it becomes available, it remains available at that level for a very short period of time. And out of 690 BCM of surface water, utilization is restricted to somewhere around 450 BCM, because otherwise other water generally goes away in the form of floods and various other unusual phenomena. These are the various major river basins of India. And as you can see, the major basins, especially of Ganges, Indus, and Brahmaputra, are all international basins. This is a very important fact to keep in mind when we look at the water development in these basins. Even the basins which are fully within India, they cross a number of political boundaries. And these are also introducing certain special features because of the way our governance is modeled through the constitution. But now let us look at the major basins of India. Which are the major basins of India? We have got, starting from Brahmaputra, which has got an average annual water resources potential of something like 537 billion cubic meter. And then we have basins like Pennar in the south part, where the annual water resources potential is hardly at about 6.32 billion cubic. So there's a very wide disparity. And if we look at the overall water resources availability, we see that Brahmaputra and Ganga make a very large component out of the total available water resources. Second part is that as far as the utilization is concerned, we have got a negative correlation with the water availability. The areas which are having very less water availability are relatively better developed from the urbanization point of view, from the industrialization point of view, and there the water utilization potential is very high. For example, if we take the basins like say Sabarmati, or if you take the basins like say Pennar, they are very highly utilized basins, but then the water availability is very poor. So it is necessary for us to look at the overall water availability in a national sense and at a national level. Second part is the temporal part. In the temporal part, as we can see, the water availability in a basin during the monsoon months will be very high, and the water availability during the lean period will go very, very low. Whereas because of the increasing effect and increasing pressure on agriculture, and also a agroeconomically more lucrative part of growing crops during the lean season or during the winter and summer season, the demands which are there in the lean season have increased tremendously. And on the other side, if we do not store the water in the monsoon period, these demands cannot be met. So how the basin is to be managed also translates to an area where how to manage the storages, how to create the strategic storages, and how to manage the storages. This is a very important aspect of sustainable development, because if we do not have water available at all the points of time, then it becomes very difficult for us to provide that water for various usages like drinking, agricultural, and various other ecosystem services. So the management of basin is very important. When we manage the basin, we try to primarily manage the surface water, because as you can see, the groundwater scenario is very different. Even though it looks like that we have out of 430 BCM, we are hardly using some 50% of it, and a lot of groundwater is available. The fact remains is that the groundwater availability is also in same proportion of that of the precipitation or surface water availability. And those areas which are poor in precipitation are also poor in groundwater. So groundwater is something which is not possible for us to really have a situation where we can manage the sources purely out of the groundwater. So in this context, the sustainability is going to primarily come from the surface water resources, because surface water resources are something which can be renewed almost every year on an average over a hydrological cycle. Whereas in case of groundwater, this rechargeability and the recyclability of the groundwater regime and rejuvenation of the groundwater regime is something that becomes very, very long, over a very long period of time. So these are the basic concepts of sustainability that we have to look at. It has to generate an intergenerational equity, and also it has to provide an environmental preservation. For example, the groundwater does not create an intergenerational equity. If we exploit the groundwater too much, the next generation will have a problem as far as the groundwater availability is concerned. It may be a few generations before which, if we do not control our groundwater exploitation, it will not. So the sustainability is an area which needs to be really looked at. Another issue that we need to look at is the pseudo-compartmentalization fashion of surface water and groundwater. We will have to treat all water in a unified manner, and that can happen when we try to look at the water availability and water management in a basin context. So looking at the availability and demand scenarios, we need to really look at the basin, and also we need to look at the storages, that how we are able to manage the water availability in the basin through strategic storages. So these are the basic area of sustainability that we need to work with. Another issues that are affecting the river basin management is that the precipitation are variable, and most of the Indian river basins are monsoon fed. Actually, even when we look at the basins which are having their origins in the Himalayan region, the largest part of the water is still that of the rainfall precipitation. The snowfall provides you with a very relatively small part of the overall yield of the basin, and that yield generally gets consumed pretty near the hilly regions, and it doesn't have a spread all through the region. Another issue is this, that the water requirements will span over the entire hydrological cycle with little correlation with the availability. As we have mentioned, when you look at the economics point of view and when you look at the profitability of the agriculture point of view, you realize that the agriculture which is performed during the lean season or during the winter and summer season is actually much highly profitable than the agriculture that gets practiced during the monsoon season. Primarily because the monsoon brings with it various kind of disasters, especially the droughts and also the floods. Both are able to manifest if we are purely dependent upon the monsoon. And therefore, our Kharif cycle has an issue of reliability. Whereas that cycle, Rabi and summer cycle, is something which is very reliable. But then at that point of time, you have very little water that is available in the natural streams, which are part of the yield of the basin. So the storages are something that we need to really work on. Second issue is that the geographical and the political and administrative boundaries are not really consonant with the other hydrological boundaries, and there we will have to set up a match, and that match will have to be coming through the cooperation. So sustainable basin management will also involve a sizable portion of cooperation. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for the managing the sustainability. When we look at all these basic principles, then when we look at what were the policy recommendations, as we can see that the National Water Policy 2012 has recommended that the integrated water resources management, which is actually taking into account most of the principles that we talked about earlier. And there we have to take the river basin or sub-basin as a unit. And that should be the main principle for planning, development, and management of water resources. So this is a very, very important aspect of thought that has been given to us from the national water policy, and something that we have to follow because of the constraints that we have talked about. And for that, we also need to work on adjusting our governance mechanisms, that is the departments, organizations, and others. It should be made in a manner that they are able to manage the river basin as a whole and implement the IWRM kind of principles. We have had earlier attempts in doing this kind of an activity. The earlier attempts were that we enacted a River Boards Act, which was oriented towards managing the interstate river basins. And we took up multi-purpose projects, especially very key multi-purpose projects, for example, like Bhakra or Hirakud or Nagarjuna Sagar and Srisailam, so that the basin that were providing the basin level view of the developmental requirements. However, the water governance initiatives have also got a limitation because of the constitutional provisions, and the constitutional provisions have created a different kind of a scenario wherein we have got a political boundary overriding the basin boundaries, overriding the basin concept. And because of that, a lot of tensions and a lot of problems that are happening in respect of water management across the country. So those challenges are resulting in, for example, the River Boards Act 1956 could not be implemented in its true sense. Number of boards were tried to be created, but they remain limited to the projects for which they were created, and they could not really transcend to a basin level developmental thoughts. So the basin development is something which is creating certain amount of issues with relation to our water management, and national level water management is fraught with a lot of tensions and a lot of problems, primarily because of the non-congruence of the boundaries, which are political in nature, social in nature, and with the geographical boundaries that are generated by the basins. After a lot of time, again, there was an activity in order to carry out the river basin management and bring it back into the focus. And for that, a bill has been drafted, and which was pending before the last parliament, and where the river basin management bill was taken up. All basin states are required and all are encouraged to participate in the development and also sit and talk together. Currently, the talk between the interbasin parties happens only through the courts. They don't happen in a mutually collaborative or a cooperative environment. So all these principles that have been there in the River Basin Management Bill, if and when it gets passed, will be able to bring in the sustainable development of water resources in the basin. We will need to work towards these areas in order to see that we are able to manage our basin level waters in a sustainable way. They are like key principles about the management. The number one will be the political will, and at the highest possible level. Clear and tangible framework which is sustained over the time and beyond the elected terms of politicians. This is one of the biggest challenges that we people are facing when we have to look at the sustainable management of the river basin. The other important part is the knowledge. Now, in case of a basin, water provides multiple services, and all these services have got different stakeholders. And not all stakeholders are behaving as per the laws and laws of physics or chemistry or laws of natural sciences. They also have their own behavioral patterns, which are coming through even the societal patterns, even through some kind of an economic patterns. So the knowledge about all these factors for a sustainable basin management is very essential. The proper use of all available sources of information, which transcends the purely the hydrology or purely the allocation of resources or division of resources amongst various units. That sort of knowledge and information which has to be shared, and it has to remain easily accessible. And then the integration of this information to the decision-making process. So knowledge management for a basin, within the basin, amongst all parties which are there present in the basin as stakeholders is very, very important if we have to go for a sustainable management of rivers. The sustainable technologies. It is very important for us to know that what is the kind of approach which will provide us with a long-lasting. We have been having certain practices which are at a variance with the water availability in the basin. And once we have those kind of practices which take the root, and then they get kind of they get kind of a leverage from various other socio-political means, or sometimes even the economic means, then the sustainability of the water management in a basin suffers a lot. One of the big examples are the cultivation of water-intensive crops in an area which has got an inherently short water availability. So, and also over-exploitation of water at certain parts of the basin, which creates a kind of a shortages in some other parts of the basin, because the basin as a whole is integrated as far as the water is concerned. So the sustainable technologies will mean that we will provide such technologies and such areas in the agronomy, in the agricultural usage part, because agricultural usage part is the largest of all the usages that are there, from the drinking water, industrial, ecological, and so on. So sustainable technologies for all these aspects become very important. We also need to, in the present day scenario, we also need to look at the water quality aspects in the river basins to make them sustainable. If we pollute the water, and if we make the water of such poor quality that the downstream areas are not able to use it, then also the sustainability suffers severely, in spite of the fact that you may have overall quantity available all through the basin. So all these are coming as a part of the sustainable technologies part. The next important part that we need to look at is the institutional arrangements. How are our institutions? It's a responsibility which is shared by a wide range of institutions. An institution, by its very nature, would like to focus itself over a particular type of a work area, because it is not possible to have one institution which will cater to every work area. And there, the collaboration and management of these institutions is very, very important. How we are managing our existing institutions is a key to how we are going to manage our water in a sustainable manner. If we have different arrangements than what are required, if we do not have enough capacities in those institutions, if we do not have enough spread of those institutions, the basin water management is the first victim that happens, and that eventually leads to the water shortages and also various other conflicts that we have seen recently in various parts of the world. So these are the issues that we will need to look at if we have to look at the sustainable water management. The sustainable water management, especially in the context of a basin, will require that each of the basin will have to address these issues. It is not that a kind of a one size fits all kind of an approach is possible, because each of the basin will have its own characteristics, and therefore these points that we are trying to make here are the ones which are required for every basin. So let us look at it from this thing. That one is the building on the existing expertise. What is the expertise available? What is the knowledge base available? And how this knowledge base can be leveraged and improved upon. So capacity development becomes the key. The community development. Water is a resource which is for public good, which is a public resource, and everybody is a stakeholder in the water management. So the community involvement takes a very important part in the sustainable management of water resources in a basin. It takes time to put it in place, a long-term investment, but it is very much required. Currently, we find that the stakeholder participation in the basin management dialogue is also very, very fragmented. There may be some very vocal pressure groups who may come up with a very large kind of demands and very vocal demands, and then some of the groups may not be really able to put that voice, and in the process there may not be an equitable distribution or management of water. Economic prosperity is another aspect. If we do not have good financial support of managing our water, then the basin level water management also suffers. A lot of incentives are required to create a favorable context so that the initiatives can flourish. So this part is something that we need to really look at, that how much financial resources we are able to throw to the basin management. If we starve the basin from the finances, the sustainability of the water will also be affected. Timing, like when do we want to do this? We cannot really do it in an overnight fashion, but then a long-term view, transcending the electoral time slots and various other such similar time slots is required. A long-term thought is always required when we have to do the water management, because not all knowledge will become revealed to you in one shot. So when we look at the river basin management, there are various issues of management are there in the country, and many of these issues are not only restricted to India, but they are also there in various parts of the world as well. So even though we have done a lot of development in the water resources, we still do not have an integrated view of our basin level resources. And then using the basin as a unit and then collectivizing the basins across the country in order to create an equitable regime, which is good for development and management in so this is a goal towards which the national level water management will have to work. So when we look at all these aspects, we have to think that how and in what manner we will have to do the sustainable management. I have tried to touch on the macro aspects of the water management, because I feel that in case of a national level sustainability exercise, it is very much important to first establish the whole, so that then the whole can be divided in parts in a manner that everybody gets a fair share. But if we try to grab the shares without really thinking about the whole, then the shares will never be sustainable and there will be always conflicts and problems. So thank you very much for listening to the presentation very, very patiently. I'm very happy and honored that I have got this opportunity to address all of you on such a nice occasion of the endowment lecture, and we hope that in the future we'll be able to work on these areas in a more sustainable way. Thank you very much.
Sir, I'm not pretty sure, sir, if there are any questions that you will be addressing, sir, if anyone has any questions to be asked.
Yeah, sure. If there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Yes, I mean, we'll allocate some time for it, sir, since a huge subject and very valuable and very important subject, sir, that you have broached today. Sir, meanwhile, we'll try to play the download from YouTube, sir. That's one of that, Sir Hussain sir was telling earlier.
Okay.
Before people start framing their questions, I think valuable message that Hanumantha sir has given. I think we'll just, walk through meanwhile.
Yeah. If there are any questions, you can put it in the chat box, and then I can try to answer.
Yeah. Now we are playing YouTube, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Ramnanagar, 1 minute, sir. We'll be playing YouTube. Voice.
Need to talk with her. Who copy from my dear? We copy nodu. ఇప్పుడు ఎదురు మాట్లాడతారు
ఎదురుంటే బాగుండేది దుర్యోధన స్టోరీ తెలుసు కదా శ్రీకృష్ణ దగ్గర తలకడ కూర్చోవడం మేము తలకడ
హలో అమ్మా నేను నైట్ ఎప్పుడు ఇస్తాను మరి నైట్ ఇస్తాను పొద్దు ఇస్తాను అమ్మాయి అడ్వాన్స్
అది కోచ్ చేసుకుంటే
Sir, looks like there is compatibility issue, sir, because we could not able to drive both the YouTube and the presentation that's happening online could not be done at the same time, sir. But we'll just watch the video, sir. I'm not sure what the content behind the message that he's trying to give, our great man trying to give, sir. But లేదా నా ల్యాప్టాప్ తీసుకొచ్చి రెడీ పెట్టి ఇది కాదు నా ల్యాప్టాప్ నీకు లేట్ టూ లేట్ సడన్ లేదు నువ్వు రెడీ ఉందని నాకు చెప్పిపోతావు 2 సెకండ్లు అందులో పెట్టాను సరిపోలేదు సరే ఎనీవే పొడలే రావట్లేదు తీసేది ఇది వేస్ట్ ఇది Sir, Sir, thank you very much for your patience, sir. But we could not able to generate the audio out of the YouTube, sir, because of some technical issue that both we could not able to conduct the online program and also try to correlate the output of the YouTube into the online streaming, sir.
Okay.
But we could able to show something. I think probably the request of the convener.
Yeah, you can. What you can do is that you can put the link, YouTube link in the chat box. So those who are interested in seeing the video can
Okay,
do
sir.
it at a later date.
Advice well taken, sir. Advice well taken, sir. Advice well taken.
And I think I have got some two questions. One from Mr. Tota Madhu, and then there are both the questions are from there. The question says that any efforts or platforms promoting to make the stakeholders rely more on the knowledge base rather than the current practice of courts. The concept of this has been tried that this can be done through a kind of a dispute resolution committee or a dispute resolution mechanism, which is being thought about, which will be primarily looking at it from a technological and from a scientific and sociological perspective. But still, the platforms for this nature have to be generated, especially at the state level, because as per the constitution, the states are the prime players with the central government acting as a facilitator. So for each of the states, they should try to at least generate a good knowledge base for the basin part in which they are located. Currently, only the demands are being projected, but then the knowledge exchange is not there. We had tried to put in a concept of basin roundtable, but then unless this river basin management bill comes in the picture, it becomes very difficult for putting this particular portion in the practice. And the knowledge based generation, especially from the point of view of water utilization, is something that is lacking very much, and we need to really work hard on that, about how to generate the reliable knowledge about the water utilization, because the resource availability wise we are reasonably accurate and reasonably informed, but we are not informed very well about the utilization patterns and then the management principles practiced in various places. Yeah. I think Dr. Ramana Nayak has raised his hand.
Sir, good evening, sir. Pranam, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Highly appreciable talk, sir. We are really proud of you, sir.
Thank you.
And I have gone through YouTube, sir. Sir is stressing about the water management and all these things. My friend, Professor Hussain Saab, is moving as a convener. As a proud of you, sir, because as a committee member, his interest is highly appreciable. And small cheese, sir, in Telangana, we are having the small suffering with the Kaleshwaram project, Medigadda. A very sad thing, I think a lot of time is there. Only 1 minute I am requesting, sir. It is a floating structure, sir, on the sand, barrage. But our honorable farmer CM is being a son of sir, is a lot of interest and stored more than 16 TMC, and some of the pillars are sunk and taken place. So Central Water Commission is the highest decision body to take all projects, sir. मैं आपको request करूँगा, what is your good advice, sir, for 1 minute? Sorry.
Actually, it's a rather complex problem, and unfortunately, at this point of time, providing the kind of solutions and opinions in a public forum is rather hampered because of the quasi judicial processes that are already going on. And that is little difficult to really come
Prime
up
office, sir. Prime office, no problem, sir.
But this particular project incident that is there shows us the great importance of investigations and planning in advance.
Yes, sir.
And also one of the very important part is that the planning has to be for a very long term and has to be reviewed thoroughly in various fora, so that then the solution that comes up is sustainable. Yeah, so thank you very much. I think well, I mean, there is one question that the examples of states that come to your mind that are better at using the knowledge base. Well, I mean, various states are at various levels, and also the problem is that the creation of the knowledge base is something that is where there's a lot of issue. Even though we have gone through this national hydrology projects of various places, we still need to do that. Second part is that the knowledge base, where in earlier days when we were having very vibrant water resources departments who used to maintain and manage this information. Currently, the downgrading or sometimes the kind of lack of personnel in the water resources departments, and also non-continuation of people in certain key kind of areas of work is hampering this creation of the knowledge base.
Sir, I think, thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful subject, sir. Very highly dynamic subject, sir. Because there is various factors. All factors also, in fact, are very dynamic, sir. And it's great tribute to Engineer T. Hanumantha Garu. That the topic that you have taken, sir, sustainable practices, water resources management, with a particular reference to river basins watershed. A dynamic in the part like usage, rainfall, streaming, and various other stakeholders, sir. That's all are dynamic. In fact, the rainfall itself is highly dynamic. The usage of water over a period of time is dynamic. The cities may grow. The agricultural part of it may be destroyed, so more water could be used. But the political boundary is also one of the aspects, sir. I think some important point that you have covered, sir. They are basically the political will. Then you actually covered 4 important points, sir. The political will, knowledge, sustainable technologies, and institutional arrangements, sir. I think all stakeholders, irrespective of their selfless. They have to work selfless, sir. Though each state, the political compulsions that each state have because the political boundaries, I think they have to overcome. And the policy that has been brought in 2012, I think probably has done some good work, but the policy that's holding in Parliament to be amended or to be implemented, I think will make much more usage of water at large. Uniformly across the various dynamic factors, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Before we go into the medals that we generally do for 4 different colleges, sir. One is JNTU Kakinada, the second one is the NIT Warangal, IIT Hyderabad, and the 4th is SV University Tirupati. Before that, I would request the children of Hanumantha Garu, Tota Vijay Kumar Garu and Shishikola Garu, if you have to anything to say for 2 minutes about your father and the contribution that he has made for India and the international at large, he is most welcome, please.
Good evening. Namaste. Thank you, Andy. I would like to thank Ashwin B. Pandya Garu for his valuable, informative, and very interesting presentation. We really enjoyed. A layperson could understand very easily. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to thank Brahma Reddy Garu for taking so much interest and always giving his support to us. Thank you so much. And Hussein Garu for his ever interest and devotion, and his affection for father comes across in his talks when he presents father's achievements. Thank you so much, Hussein Garu. We are ever grateful. I would like to thank also our chairman, Venkat Subbay Garu, who is not here, but has always been organizing and been in touch with me, and Mr. Sitaram Babu Garu for conducting the whole show. And I would like to also thank Mr. Nayak Garu for always being there. I think he's one of the committee members. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've always seen you in being actively involved and presenting. I would
Yes,
like
ma'am.
my brothers are here. Tota
Yeah.
Vijay Kumar is here and Tota Madhu. I would,
Vijay
my
Saab, good
brother
evening.
will, yeah, they would also take 1 minute and
Please,
give
please.
their thanks. Thank you.
Namaste, Andy, to all the guests. This is Tota Madhusudan. I'm here with my sister. She's right across the table here with me. Engineer Pandya Garu, thank you very much for those kind words, Andy. And yes, I've been the one posing those questions because I was listening to some of the things you've been saying, and they somehow resonate with some of the comments I remember father making in terms of resolution of the river disputes between the states, and so that's what triggered those. I will not take up too much time. I think Dr. Hussein Garu and Dr. Sitaram Rao Garu, you have all done a great job. Hussein Garu, I have nothing more to add about what Daddy was like. You have as much information as I have on him, or probably more. My very quick message to the gold medal winners, the 10 students there is something that my father had always lived, his sense of curiosity and learning. Please do not stop learning. Do not stop asking questions. Do not stop challenging anything that you see, especially any data or whatever data that you come across. Go ahead, dig through, and be curious. That would be my message. And thank you all at the Institution of Engineers India and the Telangana chapter. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu Saab. Thank you. I think you have to become a member in Institute of Engineers. Shashaka, Madhu Saab, and Muguru. Muguru member కావాలి, మీ బంధువర్గం, మీ జూనియర్ సీనియర్ అందరికి మెంబర్ చేయాలి, ఐఏ మెంబర్ అయితేనే
I think application ఎక్కడ ఉంది సార్, అక్కడ మీది application ఉంది.
హాయ్ ఇప్పుడు ఆన్లైన్ పెట్టేస్తా.
And I would also like to thank
Shashaka, you have to become a member.
I would also like to thank all the members present here and our family members who are there who took time to join us. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
We are also expecting Vijay Kumar Garu also to speak for a minute, or shall I go ahead with the
Yes.
next?
Please. 1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah, we'll request.
Yes.
6540.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
1 second.
Morning, Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening. I am Vijay Kumar, son of Mr. Hanumantha Rao. I heard your talks and I feel very honored to listen to all of you, paying respect and regards for his work. And some of you have touched him as a person. And we as a family are very grateful for your efforts and trying to remember him and his works. I wish you a wonderful evening. Yes, sir.
Who is talking? Sir.
Vijay Kumar.
Sir, are you done, sir? Vijay Kumar, sir, are you done, sir?
I'm done, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Sir, nice of you. The entire family, along with Institute of Engineers and
very grateful to you also.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Nice of you, sir. And
thank you.
Before we go into the... Somebody is talking, sir. Would they like to speak, sir?
Sorry, there's all the three of us have spoken. There's nobody else here.
Okay. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right, sir. Still the program is not over, sir. Still the program is not over. Great personalities typically have great thoughts, sir. And one such thought is contribution to the students' motivation and development, sir. I think he has done a human service, not only as his personal and professional development, but is also, in fact, trying to motivate students who are the toppers. In fact, he has donation a corpus fund has generated a corpus fund at Institute of Engineers, where every year we'll be giving medals in the Department of Civil belonging to JNTU Kakinada, NIT Warangal, IIT Hyderabad, and ST University Tirupati, sir. Last year, in fact, we are going ahead and giving 2 medals of 2019-23, that is that which has to be given last year, and 2020 to 24, which the current year has to be given. Last time we had received only one response from and hence we could not able to generate the gold medals and distribute it. Now we got the opportunity. In fact, the 4 medals that were to be given in last year and 4 medals that has to be given this year. Or in fact, we got all the responses, and we'll just go ahead and deliver. I think probably your presence would have definitely made Madam Shishi Kola Garu, Vijay Kumar Garu, and Madhu Garu would have definitely made a huge difference, sir. Personally handing over those medals to the individuals who have topped at very prestigious institutions, I think probably would have given much thrill and satisfaction, sir. But anyway, we take the opportunity on your behalf to donate those gold medals on behalf of you and the great personality of Institute of Engineers, Hanumantha Garu. I would also request Vijay Kumar Garu is actually the Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technology. Is retired. He is a professor in Bhaskar Rao Garu. I'd also like to ask him to come at the dais. He is one of the senior fellow of Institute of Engineers, and also Hussain Garu, Muhammad Hussain Garu, to be also part of it. We three will donate we'll give in fact the medals to individuals. Now we start with JNTU Kakinada for the discipline of civil for BTech only. For 2019 and 23, I would request Ms. Gudala Divya, please come on to the dais. It's our privilege to honor you on behalf of Hanumantha Rao and his entire family. I would appreciate all on the online if you could clap. I think probably motivation for the next endeavors also of the next endeavors. Please come, sir. Hanumantha Rao, please come, sir. Sir, please come.
Give a big clap to.
చూపిస్తున్నా
బ్రహ్మాండం ఉంది కానండి సెక్రటరీ గారు, బ్రహ్మాండం, సూపర్.
సార్ అయ్యే సార్ సార్ తర్వాత ఇదిలేండి మీరు చేసేయండి 5 books. ఓకే, అది వేస్తే బాగుంటుంది సార్. మీరేంటి సార్ ఒక్కొక్కటి వేస్తే అయిపోతుంది. సార్ బుక్ ఇచ్చేయండి సార్, బుక్ సార్ పట్టుకోండి సార్, చేపట్టుకోండి స్టూడెంట్స్. Sir, that was the prize for last year, sir. That's the medal for last year. And this year, Miss Koppula Ramya, please, wherever you are, please come on the dais. It's our honor. It's a great honor to and also from Hanumantha.
Congrats, Ramya ji.
First, sir, sir, Hussain garu,
ఏంటి వరంగల్
సార్ I think it's a wonderful opportunity for students also. They would have got their parents. I think it would have been an honor, absolutely great honor for parents. Now, National Institute of Technology, Warangal, is the second in our Dr. Mr. Yadri Revant for last year. Please come.
CM Revant, welcome.
I think you all would have got your parents. Great for them. feature videos also. Go through this and I give a gist of this. Okay. Mr. Jagiasi Naveen Kamlesh for the current year.
Naveen Kamlesh, give a big hand.
Looks like he's not here. I think we'll pass it over. We'll send it. I don't know how we'll do it. We'll definitely do it. Whether we would request him to come down or when we get the opportunity to Warangal or do it by speed post. Now the third in the row is IIT Hyderabad. Mr. Shashank Garg, please.
Oh, Shashank Garg. मैं दिल्ली में हूँ गर्ग जी.
You are his brother? You are? No. I think even Garg has not come. You get any chance to meet him or we'll deliver it, don't worry. Now I think even Shashank Garg is not here. But for the current year 2024, Mr. Sankalp Bhagwat Deshmukh is here. I would request you to please come.
Sankalp Bhagwat, congrats.
Okay,
3, 5, 6, 2.
There's many more like this in English. So you have to read this book. Yes. I told you, no? Yeah. This I given this. Now the turn of the SB University Tirupati, Brahma Devi Venkata Tanuja.
Oh, great. Lord Balaji.
For the last year, the academic year of 19 to 23. Sir, Hussain Garg. God bless you. You're not good. All good. You have to get many more like this. Make your parents feel proud. Rahi Monasri. Good. Madam Lalida. Your brother or father? Brother. Okay. She could not able to come, but his brother has come to take the award. It's a great honor for his brother to be part of it. Sister, great honor.
Direct gracious.
In fact, to be very honest, for Kola Madam, Vijay Kumar sir and Madhu, I think we are feeling highly privileged and very proud of handing over these medals. I think a huge motivational concept. As I said, great personalities have great thoughts. Anyway, it's a wonderful event now is coming to the end. I would like to give the vote of thanks as it's my duty to convey the vote of thanks to the August gatherings, both on-site and offshore, and who are physically attending here. We should thank, in fact, the chairman, Venkat Subbai Garu, who could not able to come. And because got stuck up, I think it's a small accident has happened to his son. I think probably he's very busy with his son's accident. And the convener Mohammed Hussain Garu for having made this event a grand success. We also thank for various speakers, for various fellows, personalities, members who are part of the event. As I've read some names, there are some other names where I could not able to read. Tota Vijay Kumar Garu, Tota Madhu Garu, G. Radhakrishna Garu, Sharad Jain Garu, Narmada Garu, Kishore Babu Garu, V. Srinivas Garu, Ashwini Padia Garu, and Professor Radhakrishna. They've actually, I read some names and these have joined after the start of the event. So I also thank the past chairman, Brahma Reddy Garu and ISN Raj Garu. Currently, the ISN Raj Garu is also a council member. And I thank Chairman Garu who has initiated the welcome address and presented over the event in the absence of the current chairman. And I also thank the Pandya Garu who has delivered a lecture on sustainable practices of water resource management with a particular reference to river basin limited. I thank all the students who have got the medals, gold medals, courtesy of Hanumantha and his family, and the great motivation that they have got through this event, and also various fellow of Institute of Engineering members and very senior members of the who are part of this event. I thank one and all. I think it's a wonderful event has come to an end. I would request the office boy Tarun to go ahead and present the national anthem. I would appreciate all to stand up and play the song, the national anthem.
Eighteen 118.
Chalavanga, Vindya Himachala Yamuna Okay, sir. Good night, all of you. Good morning.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Madhu
you.
Garu,
Good night.
Shashika,
Good night.
and Guru member Kavali Institute of Engineers.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well
Sir,
organized.
So thank you all.
Definitely, Andy. Yes.
Thank you all.
Professor Hussain has to take care about membership of Madhuna, Shashika, and Muguru.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Mohan,
you, Andy. Hussain Garu, thank you. Andaru.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anasindra garu,
Thank you,
wonderful.
Pandyan ji. Pandyan ji, thank you so much.
Uppala Srinivasa garu, పెద్దాయన, నమస్కారాలు.
Thank you all.
మా
Thank you
అత్త
all.
అంకుల్ ఉన్నారు లక్ష్మణ్ రావు గారు లక్ష్మత థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ మా ఫాదర్ సిస్టర్ అండి
ఓ నమస్తే.
Thank you, Amma. Namaste, namaste, Amma.
గుడ్ నైట్ అండి అందరికి గుడ్ నైట్
నమస్తే అమ్మా.
Only awards, those who got awards, please.
Namaskaram.
And then we'll go for the entire audience.
Okay.
Bobby, I want